Los Angeles, California 9.
Last week in Dallas, the silver and black ground attack showed signs of effectiveness. The jumbo-sized backfield combination of Nick Bell and Steve Smith ripped the Dallas defense for nearly 5 yards a carry. On defense, the Raiders continued their celebrated tradition of attack football, and it paid off early. A vicious hit by Winston Moss, and Terry McDaniel scooped up a Dallas fumble for a Raider touchdown. Today, the Raiders battle the Colts in the Hoosier Dome. No longer a house of frustration for last season's vastly improved Colts, who went from 1 victory in 1991 to 9 a year ago. This year, hopes for continued success were high, but those hopes could be dampened by the preseason holdout of Jeff George. Those responsibilities have now fallen on the shoulders of veteran quarterback Jack Trudeau, whose preseason performance has been perfect. And he'll have to be sharp today to answer the challenge issued by the fearsome Raider defense. Live from the Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis, Indiana, the Los Angeles Raiders take on the Indianapolis Colts. Hi, everyone, and welcome to week number 4 of the preseason for the Los Angeles Raiders. I'm Rich Marotta. Working alongside me once again will be the former great coach of the Kansas City Chiefs and the New Orleans Saints, and that, of course, Hank Stram. Hank, first of all, the Raiders have got their coach in place after spending a couple of days in the hospital. Art Shell, with a diabetic condition, is back.
Yes, he came out of retirement after 2 days, and he said he's feeling very good. He's anxious for this game to get underway. He wants this to be another opportunity to look at some more players, but he thinks they're on the right track. And I think it's going to be a very good football game.
So things are pretty much in place for the Los Angeles Raiders as they approach the regular season, and we'll be back with the exciting game tonight between the Raiders and the Indianapolis Colts in just a moment. Raider preseason football is being brought to you by Asics Athletic Shoes, featuring Okay, the Raiders are going to receive. Okay. Tonight's week 4 of the preseason. The Los Angeles Raiders and the Indianapolis Colts. Believe it or not, this is the first time the Raiders have ever played in the Hoosier Dome. Raiders and the Colts, the way the schedule's worked out in the last few years, just haven't seemed to play each other that much. Teams taking the field now for the kickoff. There's head coach Art Shell. Took over, of course, in October of 1989 with the Raiders. There's his career record, 35-25. Been in the playoffs 2 of the last 3 years. And Ted Marchibroda with his 50-40 record. Actually, this is his second stint with the Colts. 62 years old now. He was a head coach here from 1975 through 79 with the Colts. And now once again took over last year. For the Los Angeles Raiders, the receivers will be Greg Robinson and Gaston Green. Dean Biasucci, now in his 9th year with the Colts, getting ready to kick off. They have brought in some competition for Biasucci this year, Dirk Borgnoni. But the job, for all intents and purposes, would seem to be Biasucci's.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if anything happened in that category because he's really a great kicker.
So the fans are into it. They're roaring, and we're getting ready for the kickoff here. Raiders 1-2, the Colts 1-1. Colts opened up with a win over Seattle, a loss last week to Cincinnati. There's the kick by Biasucci. Sends Robinson deep into his own end zone, and he's going to down it there. Goes to one knee, and the Raiders will take over 1st and 10 on the 20-yard line.
See, that's a great thing about Dean, the way he kicks the ball into the end zone. You put the ball in the 20, you got a long way to travel.
Here's Jeff Hostetler, who so far during the course of the preseason has connected on 65% of his passes, 26 out of 40. The touchdown to interception ratio, though, is definitely uncharacteristic for Jeff, who shows throughout his career a very low percentage of interceptions, but he's had 3 so far in the last 2 games. The Raiders have Nick Bell and Steve Smith.
See if they, okay, a play action pass right off the bat.
And Hostetler is going to go deep downfield. He had Brown wide open and could not hit him.
Oh, that's murder. And the protection was excellent. He had plenty of time to throw the ball. It wasn't a very good fake, but it still held the defense good.
Well, Tim Brown was there, but he couldn't get the ball to him. The running back, Smith and Bell. Alexander Wright opens it one wide out, Tim Brown at the other, and the tight end, the veteran Ethan Horton. And the offensive line, Rich Stevens taking over at that troubled left tackle spot for the Raiders. He's the third one there this year. Wisniewski, Mosbar, Montoya, and Bruce Wilkerson across the line. It's 2nd and 10 now for the Raiders from the 20-yard line. Smith and Bell split in the backfield. Brown wide right. Right on the left side. Nick Bell off left tackle. Bucks forward for about 4 yards. 3rd and 6 upcoming.
Pretty good block there by Wisniewski, the left guard. He went right over their strength and moved the pile just enough to get the 4 yards on the play.
Defensively for the Colts, they open with a 4-3 tonight. Pegues, Epman, Siragusa, and McClendon. Pegues is starting tonight for the injured John Hand, who's out with a groin injury. Chip Banks, Quentin Coriat, Tony Walker, the linebackers. And the defensive backfield, Good, Daniel, Baylor, and Belzer. 3rd and 6 for the Raiders. Ty Montgomery, the third down back, is in now for Los Angeles. Hostetler in a little bit of trouble. He's going to run, and he can do it. Across the 30, he's got the first down. And there we see, Hank, the mobility of Jeff Hostetler. One great asset that he brings to this football team.
See, that's the great thing about it. I just don't think you can play quarterback and win consistently in the National Football League if you don't have a quarterback who has escapability skill. Now look at this. He jumps up into the pocket. And when he's able to move like that, then you're playing 11 against 11. If the quarterback is a gumshoe back there and can't move, then you're playing 11 against 10.
They tried to run a stunt that time. They were looping McClendon from the right side over around the left side. And by the time he got in the backfield, Hostetler was long gone. Ball at the 32 now. 1st and 10 for the Raiders. Back to the starting backfield now. Smith and Keller split. Hostetler in trouble. Again, he eludes a tackle. Loops it forward on a nice little bit of ad-libbing by Hostetler, and he actually got a completed pass on the forward pass. Not bad to Ethan Horton.
Well, that time they didn't take a very good sniff of the play-action fake, and as a result, they got pressure. Now watch the push-ups front. Look at any outside. So you had to make a move inside. The defensive end was coming up the field, but in spite of that, he was able to ad-lib a little bit, throw the ball up front, forward pass, and he still avoided the loss and gained a few yards in the play.
Here's the winner of the NFL Quarterback Challenge, which was televised just a few weeks ago nationally, Jeff Hostetler. On 2nd and 5. Penalty flag down. Hostetler dives forward to the 40. And it's going to be a holding call coming up here against the Raiders, and they'll march it back.
Holding. Number 76 of the offense. 10 yards. Still 2nd down.
A holding call is on to Steve Wisniewski of Los Angeles. Wisniewski, in his 5th year out of Penn State, has made it to 3 straight Pro Bowls in his career. Only in his rookie year was he not named to the Pro Bowl team.
Well, I don't think there's any question about the fact that he's one of the very best guards in the National Football League, and the Raiders feel exactly the same way about that skill and ability.
2nd and 16 now as they move it back to the 26. Raiders split both of their wideouts to the right side. They get straight up the middle to Steve Smith, and he's knocked down there by Willis Pegues, 4th-year pro out of Miami. There's Tony Siragusa, also went on the tackle, got the wild hair going, looks like a Bob Golick look.
Yeah, it looks like he just swung out of a tree, didn't it? Doesn't he? But anyway,
I didn't want to go that far, Hank.
Yeah, but I tell you something, he's a good football player, and he stretched his pores at the University of Pittsburgh.
We'll get a shot of Steve Epman's hair if we get a chance tonight. It's just the opposite. All right, it's third down now, 13 for Los Angeles. 3 wide this time for LA. And Montgomery in the lineup as well. The 3rd down back. Hostetler eludes a man. Here's trouble though. He's caught and sacked. Lots of pressure. He managed to get by the first 2 guys, but he could not escape Skip McClendon in the end, and McClendon gets the sack.
Now here he goes back into the pocket. Watch McClendon. 95.
Hostetler actually did a good job there, Hank, to get away from the first 2 guys, but there was just too much pressure. And now Jeff Gossett is going to be back on his 2-yard line to punt. Gossett had a good week a week ago. He's averaging about 45 yards a punt in the preseason. He booms this one out nice and high. Back deep for it is Verdun. Signals for a fair catch and makes it at the 41-yard line with Elvis Patterson right in his face. A 43-yard punt. Verdun makes the fair catch, and we have timeout called. 10:55 to go in the first quarter. No score. The Raiders in Indianapolis. This is Los Angeles Raiders football. No score yet. Indianapolis and the Raiders were in the first quarter, and Indianapolis with the ball for the first time. Jack Trudeau at quarterback. He's been perfect in the preseason. 9 of 9 so far. And the handoff goes to Anthony Johnson, trying to bounce it outside. He's going to be run out of bounds by Derek Hoskins. And I think we should point out right now that Jeff George, the holdout quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts, is a holdout no longer. He reported today a lot lighter in the wallet, $144,000 in fines, and they insist he'll have to pay those. There's the Colts backs and receivers. Johnson and Roosevelt Potts, a rookie in the backfield. Former Raider Jesse Hester and Reggie Langhorne are the wideouts with Kerry Cash, the tight end. And there's the very big front line. Moss, Dixon, Loudermilk, Solt, and Call. And they are over 300 pounds a man across that front line. Trudeau has only Roosevelt Potts now in the backfield. And he's back to pass. Over the middle he goes to Reggie Langhorne. Langhorne, a real good find for this team a year ago. Caught 65 passes, brought down by Aaron Wallace. And for the Raiders, starting in the defense for the first time this year, Howie Long sees action, and Chester McLaughlin moves into the starting lineup as well. Nolan Harrison and Greg Townsend on the right side of the line. The backers for the Raiders, Joe Kelly in the middle, Wallace and Moss flank him, and the defensive backfield, the usual starting backfield, McDaniel, Washington at the corners, Hoskins and Anderson at the safety spots. Here's Trudeau, airing it out, long looking for Langhorne. He's got it! Beautiful over-the-shoulder grab, got right behind Torin Dorn, who I thought had pretty good coverage on him, and a 38-yard pass play from Jack Trudeau to Reggie Langhorne clicks.
See, the success of that play was contingent on the fact that he had plenty of time to throw the ball. The rush was not severe enough. He had a lot of time to throw the ball, step up and throw it, and that was the reason for the successful pass to Reggie Langhorne on the play.
Langhorne has always been known as a guy who can make the tough catch, and Trudeau in his 8th year now out of Illinois has the team lined up on the 15-yard line, 1st and 10. Roosevelt Potts. That big bulldozer goes across the 10 down to the 8-yard line. Aaron Wallace making the tackle for Los Angeles. And Hank, we talked to Ted Marcher-Broder today, and he likes Potts.
Yes, I know. I can understand why he likes him. And that time the right guard, Solt, and also the right tackle, Kalb, did a terrific job of opening up yardage, open up in a hole on the right side. And as big as he is, he goes through the cavity and goes into the hole and comes out the other end.
Puts him in a good spot here. It's 2nd and 2. There's Potts again. Runs into Aaron Wallace again. And Joe Kelly. Greg Townsend there also to help out on the tackle. Let's see where they mark it, but it looks as though it's going to be short of the first down by about a yard. Be 3rd and 1. Raiders trying to stiffen up here now. The ball at the 6-yard line. There's Joe Kelly, who a week ago was moved into the starting lineup. Has played very well in the preseason for the Raiders. Signed in April as an unrestricted free agent from the New York Jets. And now on 3rd and 1. They come up in an I formation this time, and Rodney Culver, their short yardage back, is in the tail of the I behind Potts. And Culver gets it. And Joe Kelly meets him, but he struggles forward somehow across the 5 and gets that first down.
And he was running kind of high that time on a short yardage situation. I'm surprised that he had enough impetus to really get the necessary yardage for the first down. Watch, the right guard pulls on the play. Now look at it. See how high he is?
Glory of scoring all the touchdowns.
This is a good time for a play-action pass. Now, they might in preseason just try to ram it in there and try to get it in that way. But a lot of times that's a good time for a play action because everybody's huffing and puffing and blowing off the line of scrimmage, and it's a great time for a fake and then a rollout or a play-action fake.
Well, they went to Culver that time, and he picked up a couple. He's down to about the 2-yard line.
See, that time they pull the left guard again. He tries to go outside, and he's got the ball away from the pressure, which is a good sign, and he's able to push himself out of that trouble. Here he is again. He jumps to the outside and missed tackle. He should have been tackle in the backfield that time, but he missed the tackle, and as a result, he gets some yardage on the play.
2nd and goal. I formation. Culver. Runs into Eddie Anderson, and he scoots down to about the 1. He's close to the goal line. No signal. He did not get in. And that's going to set up 3rd and goal.
Now watch again. They're coming over the left side. Now he runs into a pile and lowers his shoulders and plows through there for extra yardage on the play. A missed tackle at the point of attack. Eddie Anderson had a shot and missed.
Fans booing. They thought that ball was right over the plane of the goal line. It's about as close as it can be without it counting as a touchdown. Trudeau asked for quiet. The Raiders react to the motion. They sent Charles Arbuckle, the formerly of UCLA, in motion.
False start. Number 66 of the offense. 5 yards.
Well, it was
Still
not
third down.
in reaction to the motion. I'm sorry. It was in reaction to Ron Solt, the starting right guard, who moved. Solt, starting tonight instead of Bill Schultz, picked up, and that's what Howie Long and Chester McLaughlin were reacting to.
Yeah, they reacted to Solt's movement, premature movement on the line before the ball was snapped, and that was a 5-yard penalty. This is murder when you make those kind of mistakes when you have an opportunity with almost less than a yard to go in for the touchdown. Now you've got 5 more to go.
That puts them in, of course, a completely different situation. As you can see, they go to 3 wideouts now. And Trudeau wants to throw. Anthony Smith's after him. Here comes Townsend, throws it deep into the end zone, and it's overthrown, intended for Langhorne. He grabbed it, but he was out of bounds.
Yeah, good pressure on the outside that time that made him escape from the pocket that time, and as a result, that's something that he really doesn't do very well, Trudeau. He doesn't escape nearly as well as some of the other quarterbacks in the league, but he's a very, very smart guy. And see, he had a chance. Had he thrown the ball a little bit sooner, that would have been a touchdown pass, but he didn't get it away soon enough, and Hoskins was there to make the play.
He ran out of the pocket. Illegal contact is not a foul.
There's Trudeau going off the field now after throwing that one out of bounds. And Dean Biasucci comes on now to attempt the field goal. Biasucci, for him last year, had a rough time, 15 of 26, but he closed very strongly in the last few games. He made 8 of his last 10.
That last play was an illustration of the new rule. The quarterback can escape from the pocket, move to the right, and if he doesn't see anybody open,
reset to
can
25
throw
while we were
intentional
talking.
grounding. Now, he didn't do it that time, but as a result, in that situation, had he done that, it wouldn't have been a penalty.
22-yard field goal attempt. Ron Stark to hold. And it's good. And the Colts draw first blood here at the Hoosier Dome. Dean Biasucci kicks it in from 22 yards away. It's Indianapolis leading Los Angeles 3-0. This is Los Angeles Raiders football. You may tune in and hear all the action called by our broadcast partners Luis Bravo and Pepe Enriquez. Luis and Pepe are well known to Los Angeles Raider fans as regular season voices of the Raiders on KWKW radio. Biasucci, who just kicked that one in from 22 yards away, will now kick off. Colts leading the Raiders 3-0. The key play in that drive, that 37-yard pass from Trudeau to Langhorne, made that over-the-shoulder catch. And here's a kickoff to Sam Braddock. And Brady is tripped up and brought down at the 15-yard line. Nice bit of work by Paul Butcher. Good special teams work by Indianapolis.
Oh, that was excellent coverage. Everybody stayed in their lane, and they had good position. And a very, very good tackle by Butcher, number 53. Happiness is in the air. You see that Jerry's given?
Well, cut-down day is coming up Tuesday, so you want to do everything you can tonight. They'll cut to 60 players from the current 80, and the Raiders are going to be caught here. Bruce Wilkerson picked up on the right side before the snap. So the Raiders are going to get shoved back even
False
further.
start. Number 68 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Wilkerson, his 7th year, moved from left tackle to right tackle this year when the Raiders acquired Gerald Perry. as a free agent. And of course, the left tackle spot has now become a problem spot because Perry is down and Skripnik got hurt.
Yeah, and Bruce normally was a right tackle before they moved him to the left side. I think he feels more comfortable on the right side than he did at left tackle and left guard.
Here's Nick Bell, and he gets up ahead of steam and picks up a lot of that yardage back.
See, they get another shot over Wisniewski, the left guard. They rely on him an awful lot. It's a great challenge for him. He likes to blow people off the ball. And I think any time that you can get any kind of a crack for Bell, as big and strong as he is at 255, let's see what happens at the line of at the point of attack. A good block by Smith also on the lead block.
They had Montoya pulling over to that side as well.
Yes.
Max offset this time. Hostetler wants to pitch to Bell. Tripped up, avoids the man. And a nice bit of work again until Skip McClendon knocks him out just short of the first down at the 25-yard line.
Steve Smith made a great block. He was the would-be tackler was in a position to make that tackle, but he got a good block. And as a result, Bell, watch him, 35 now. We'll see him in the picture down the look. There's a good straight arm. He got the ball away from pressure. There was a block with the guy down on the ground by Smith, and as a result, he was able to provide the running room and the necessary yardage for a nice gain on the play.
Third and less than a yard. Bell's picked up 14 yards in those 2 carries. Raiders go to 2 tight ends now. This time, Nick Bell is stacked up in the backfield and brought down. Steve Epner made the tackle.
See, that's a tough play, Rich, when you got just such a short yardage situation, and it's easy up here to second guess that kind of a thing. But he's got to go all the way across the formation, which is a long way to go, a long time for those blockers to hold their blocks. But again, in this preseason game, why they're experimenting with people blocking and looking at how they react, and so that's why they try that kind of a play in a preseason game.
So now Gossett will have to punt again. That was a wonderful play by Epman, the #1 pick overall in the draft a year ago. He shows signs of being a real star. It's going to be a penalty flag thrown as Gossett really roots it out of there. A very high kick, and Verdun wants to call for a fair catch and then regrets it. He's smacking the ball. He wishes he hadn't called for the fair catch. 43 yards. And we have a fight away from the ball. And don't forget the penalty flag sitting down here at the 28-yard line. They're down at the bottom of the pile is Joe Kelly of the Raiders. Joe Kelly is easily riled.
Yeah, he's got a temper, and he reacts. He reacts very quickly.
His teammates found that out early at camp this year. Dale Hamer calling the officials together now to discuss what the penalties will be.
Don't worry about it, just catch him. And that's what he did.
Illegal formation on the kicking team. That penalty is declined. Holding on the receiving team, 10 yards from the spot of the foul by rule change 1993.
All right, so Dale has cleared that up. Verdun, by the way, if we get a chance to see him run one back tonight, is one of the more electrifying punt returners. There's Hostetler, though.
He averaged 11 yards of return last year, which is strong, and in preseason so far is like 10-8.
Colts lead at 3-0. This is Los Angeles Raiders football. Who normally lines up in the backfield as a running back. They put him wide left. We've got 2 receivers over on the right side with Roosevelt Potts, the only remaining back.
You got 2-on-2 on the right side, 1-on-1. You know, that should be a good passing situation. Look at this, right up the middle with a little high diddle-diddle, and he makes a nice gain on the play.
And that's Roosevelt Potts, the rookie out of Northeast Louisiana. He was a second-round draft pick. This is a guy who is sure to be on the team. He gives them the big back that they've been looking for, apparently. And he catches the ball well. We haven't seen that yet, Hank, but he can also catch that football.
Yeah, look at the right side. Watch the blocking there. Watch this. Look at the big hole. The center does a great job. They open up a big cavity there. He pops right through there nicely. Good vision, good balance, and makes a nice gain in the play.
And on 2nd and 3 now. So gives it to Potts, who's getting a lot of work tonight. Bounces off the tackler and works his way up to the 35-yard line for a first down. He kind of is reminding me, although he's built a little bigger, or actually a lot bigger, but of Ricky Irvins and his ability to kind of be a pinball and bounce off of people.
Yeah, the big thing here is look at his head, look at his His vision is good. He doesn't put his head down and try to go into the pile. With his head up and his eyes open, he's able to create an opportunity to run off those blocks, and he made extra yardage because of that vision.
4 carries, 21 yards for Roosevelt Potts so far. First down for Indianapolis, and a completed pass for Trudeau. He gets it to Langhorne, who coughs up the ball, but not until after he was tackled by Lionel Washington, and Washington is hurt. Lionel Washington, the Raiders' starting cornerback, in his 11th year, at 32 years of age, and Washington not getting ringers less tonight than they have in the last couple of weeks, and probably far less than what Indianapolis does this evening.
That's why it's so deceptive, because you don't know what the respective game plans are of the coaches. The Raiders are definitely wanting to look at as many people in this game as they possibly can before the cut down.
Looked like a fumble on the play by Johnson, but the ball was dead and down. Hoskins had recovered for the Raiders, but it will not count. By the way, Torrin Dorn is the man who comes in and replaces Lionel Washington at the right cornerback position. They still get a gain out of that of 3 yards, so it'll be 2nd and 7 coming up. There's Torrin Dorn out of North Carolina. He was a 4th-round draft pick for the Raiders in 1990.
Well, they got one-on-one bump and run on the outside receiver. See if he tries to go up on top. I think he was trying to change the play to matriculate the ball on a long shot downfield because of the man.
73 of the offense, 5 yards, still 2nd down.
Who we'll see before too much longer, by at least the opening of the regular season for Indianapolis.
See, there's that.
Oh, great defensive work by Terry McDaniel to break up that pass play to Langhorne. McDaniel, who played at an all-pro level last year, and I really thought he may have been the best football player on the team last year.
Well, I think they feel very strong. Now look at it. He's got outside leverage, see, and he got help from the safety, and he closes very quickly once the ball is thrown. And Trudeau got a shot right after he, watch this now, he gets a little massage, but nothing serious. Knocks him down, dirties his uniform a little bit, but not much.
Terry McDaniel, 5th year out of Tennessee, Pro Bowl, rarely beat.
Now they got a double outside. Something inside should be very effective if they throw the ball.
And a rare use of the shotgun here by the Colts. He wants to throw it upfield, intending it for Jesse Hester, and way overthrown.
No chance on that kind of coverage where they got double outside and the middle is very open. You got to pump the ball into the middle area and use good discretion, read the coverage well, and get the ball to the open man. That was a bad pass and bad judgment on the play.
The Raiders will send Napoleon McCallum back to stand on the 10-yard line. Normally in this situation, if McCallum fields the ball, he will fair catch it deep in his own territory. Here's the punter, Ron Stark, left-footed punter and one of the best in the business. McCallum waves for the fair catch, but then lets the ball bounce into the end zone, and the Raiders will take over after a 53-yard punt by Ron Stark. 1st and 10 at their own 20. The Raiders trail the Indianapolis Colts 3-0. This is Los Angeles Raiders football. Raiders have made a change at quarterback, and as I told you, they're going to go with some of the other people tonight a lot more than usual, and Todd Marinovich, by design, getting a shot here early in the game tonight. He'll play the rest of the half and into the 3rd quarter as well. Marinovich gives the ball to Gaston Green, and Green over the right side, brought down by Michael Brandon, 1st-year player out of Florida.
See, Gaston Green that time was like in the old I formation, about 7.5 yards deep. It provides him with a great opportunity to see the defense, see how it reacts, and then run any place there's a cavity. He started to his left, went to the right, and picked up extra yardage on the play because of that depth.
Well, you heard the gun, and that signals the end of the 1st quarter. Todd Marinovich leads the Raiders down to the other end of the field. The Raiders trailing the Indianapolis Colts 3-0. This is Los Angeles Raiders football.
Look at this now, passing yards, big difference, -8 for the Raiders, and total yards 19 to 87.
Hey, you got that pronunciation of Raiders down.
Well, I couldn't get the job unless I could say Raiders like I was supposed to say it.
Marinovich's pass is intercepted. Picked up by Tony Walker, the linebacker, trying to go right over the middle, and Walker got to the ball. Tony Walker, 4th-year player out of Southeast Missouri State.
All right, look at 92 now. Walker, 92. Look at this. He tips the ball. See, there it is, right? And then he
makes the interception. And the Colts have good field position again. One thing about the Raiders so far, they've been in the gumbo on every drive almost. 3 drives, they're on their own -20, their own 16, -20. It's hard to travel that far consistently when you're in that kind of field position.
You're letting your New Orleans roots show here, Hank.
Yeah, that's right, the gumbo.
Roosevelt Potts. Good defensive work by Andre Bruce. Andre Bruce with the tackle, came up from the defensive left side to wrap up Roosevelt Potts, and that's a hard guy to wrap up.
Yeah, it really is, and of course, you know what happened. The tackle did a good job of stepping back.
Personal foul, 15-yard penalty, face mask, number 56, first down.
Now that's why he did a good job of wrapping him up, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. And I went to a high school football game, and I heard somebody use the expression, that's not a face mask, a gum grabber.
Crowd doesn't like it on the replay here. That's the reason for the boos, but they'll like the fact that the ball is now spotted at the 12-yard line with 1st and 10 for Indianapolis. They send Langhorne out wide left, and Jesse Hester, the former Raider, lined up on the right side against Dan Land. Here's Anthony Johnson.
Potts that time at fullback acted like a guard and trapped the defensive lineman on the play. But in spite of that, they got good penetration and stopped the play nicely.
A trailer underneath. Smith finished him off.
Bump and run on the outside. They might have tried to do something down on top.
Anthony Johnson finds some running room off the left side. And Andre Bruce, very active here in his opportunity to play here at the beginning of the second quarter. Makes the tackle along once again with the trailer.
Now here, look at again the big hole. Look at the big hole. They close pretty quickly, but not until after he makes some good yardage on the play.
Hester comes out wide right. They've got Langhorne in the inside on the right side. Trudeau, too high. Tried to get it for Hester. The coverage provided by Dan Land.
He had plenty of time to throw the ball that time too. Good coverage on the play. You have to give the defensive backs a lot of credit for the coverage. Here again, look, he's got time. Bruce is going, but he gets caught outside. He steps up into the pocket and throws the ball over the top. Had a chance to be caught by Hester, but it went right through there. That kind of a pass, you know, in the end zone, you can't throw it high. You got to throw it at the numbers. That time he couldn't because there was a defensive back in his way.
Land, who made the switch from safety to cornerback there on the coverage, and Biasucci now will try a 23-yard field goal. It is up and good. So Indianapolis extends its lead to 6 points now. 6-0 in favor of the Colts with 13:24 to go in the first half. This is Los Angeles Raiders football. Of the National Football League and the Los Angeles Raiders. Right now the Raiders find themselves trailing 6-0 to the Indianapolis Colts. Good job by the defense after the interception by Marinovich gave Indianapolis excellent field position.
Yeah, see, the field position has been the big thing so far. Indianapolis on that last drive, they started the drive on a +24.
And the Raiders forced him into a field goal situation. Here's Sam Bradley going to run it out from 2 yards deep in the end zone. And he is smacked down hard. Washington brings him down, and I'm telling you, they're doing some great job on kick coverage. Excellent kick coverage tonight by the Indianapolis Colts.
Now watch Washington come into the picture. Look at that hit. Very good contact. He stayed in his lane, a good tackling position, made good contact, and nailed him right there inside the 20-yard line on the play.
Well, after that celebration by Washington, Marinovich brings the Raiders up 1st and 10, and now we've got Siragusa charging across the line, and then in his best finger-pointing pose, pointing right at Steve Wisniewski of the Raiders.
Number 76 of the offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
There's Siragusa, who doesn't look like he's been turning down many meals lately.
No, that's right. Yeah, he's pumped up there pretty good.
He's well over 300.
Looks like he just got back from the Exxon station.
Make it 1st and 15 now. The Raiders moved all the way back to their 10-yard line.
They like to run left on this formation. Here they come.
And it's Gaston Green. Finds some running room. Across the 15 and up to the 17-yard line.
See, Gaston Green, that's the kind of play he has to run. He's got to have some space. He had some space that time. Here they come to the left side. See, they got him all spread out. He sees a hole, takes advantage of it, but he's quick and he's fast, and he can make those move extremely well, especially when he's back there that deep, about 7.5 yards deep.
Rich Stevens got some good blocking out in front, and then was helped out by Don Mosbar in a double team. There's Green again, and not much room this time.
See, he doesn't run inside nearly with the aggressive attitude that he does when he runs outside. And it's natural he's not that big and he's not that strong. If he's got a cavity there, he'll do the best he can. But you see there's a little indecision. He tries to cut back into the inside and gets tackled on the play by Tony Walker.
He's having a pretty nice quarter. Now it is 3rd and 7 for the Raiders. A makeshift offensive line, don't forget, with Rich Stevens starting at the left tackle, and the Raiders have replaced Max Montoya in the second quarter now with Big Todd Peake. Ty Montgomery into the lineup as the 3rd down back. Deep drop by Marinovich. Andrew Glover has the reception. Comes across the 25 up to the 26-yard line. Does he have the first down?
Yeah, I think
I believe he got it.
Now, Marinovich does a good job now. He gets a sniff there of the rush. He gets rid of the ball quickly. You see on the outside. And a good job by Glover running the ball, putting his head down, and making the yardage for the first down. Look at this. See, he goes inside and just gets enough yardage for the first down on the play. But a great play by Marinovich on that last play.
James Jett into the lineup for the Raiders, wearing gloves this game for the first time. Here's Napoleon McCallum, and he has brought down Siragusa right there to grade him along with Quentin Correa.
Correa's like a piece of abalone. He's all over everybody. Sticks to him. I tell you one thing, he's not a speed bump. He stops him. He stops him. He doesn't slow him down. He's not a speed bump. He hits him.
Siragusa doing some good lateral pursuit there, Hank, to bring him down.
Yeah, he does a good job. Yes, he does. Good lateral. Uses his hands very, very well.
He's known as a guy who's very strong at the point of attack, but he showed the ability there to get across the line. Marinovich on 2nd down now. Ball bounces off the chest of Andrew Glover.
You know, the way that rush is coming, they've got to run a few draw plays, a few screen plays to slow down the rush. Now here again, Marinovich had to step up into the pocket, a good feel for pressure. Now watch this, getting pressure on the outside. He steps up into the pocket, throws the ball right on the money again, but it falls incomplete.
The draw play, interestingly enough, was very successful for Cincinnati against Indy last week.
See, the rush was on the outside. The offensive tackles did a good job of pushing the guys beyond the pocket, so he stepped up nicely and got rid of the ball.
3 wideouts now in the game for the Raiders. Hobbs comes in. Marinovich under some pressure, gets it off, drills the pass for a completion to James Jett. But Jett is going to be short of the first down by a couple of yards.
They just can't get out of the soup.
James Jett, the speedster, making that catch. But it was not enough for the first down, about 2 yards short. The tackle made very quickly by Buchanan.
Yeah, well, Buchanan closed very quickly. He knew exactly where he had to go to get the first down, put him in a vice, threw him down to the turf, and he didn't make the first.
Now watch out here if Clarence Verdun gets some room to run. Gossett standing on his own 20. Verdun is just an electrifying punt returner. He was a Pro Bowl performer last year. Comes up, now he's calling for the fair catch, and he makes it at the 30.
Yeah, he makes every catch look like the 4th of July if he ever catches it and brings it back. A lot of fireworks.
A 36-yard punt that time, a little bit short by Jeff Gossett. Raiders continue to trail 6-0 as Todd Marinovich talks it over with the great Fred Biletnikoff. This is Los Angeles Raider football.
The Hall of Famer, great receiver for the Raiders. Had a nice chance to visit with him today, and he really was ecstatic about the receivers. He said they got a lot of competition. It's going to be a very difficult cut. He's really massaging that gum, isn't he? I hope he doesn't get any gum stuck in that soup strainer.
One of 8 Raiders in the Hall of Fame. There's a guy who can burn it pretty good upfield, who can certainly gain a lot of wisdom from Fred Biletnikoff. That's Sam Grady. But now it's 1st and 10, and Trudeau still in there. We expect to see Mikowski in the second half tonight. Here's Roosevelt Potts again, and he's got 5 yards right up the middle. He's a good-looking young running back, fullback, brought down by Brian Jones. You know, Hank, this is the Raiders' 4th preseason game, all on the road. And of course, next week they'll be more or less at home. But this, I would think, would take a toll after a while, playing every single preseason game on the road.
Well, it does. But again, you have to understand the philosophy of why they play the game. They're looking at. I could never do that when I was coaching. But I think you have to give the Raiders a lot of credit. They want to look at their people. They spend a lot of money, a lot of time recruiting people. They want to see them in the game conditions. And then when they pump the balls up and screw their hats on when the season starts, then they'll be ready to go with the people they feel can play.
Well, of course, the situation this year with the renovation of the Coliseum, of course, as they continue to get that ready for the opener. But it is a strange situation, certainly, for a team next week when the Raiders play at Anaheim. It'll be 5 preseason games, 5 preseason road games.
Yeah, when you have to play the traveling music every week, it gets to be old stuff. You really got to keep changing the tunes.
Jack Trudeau started 5 games last year for Indianapolis, completed 58% of his passes.
Look at this bump and run on the outside. See if they try to matriculate the ball downfield. Whoop.
Went to the left side and got the completed pass. A nice pass, rolled it right in there. Man, I tell you, he is very accurate.
Well, the great thing about that play,
he's grasping onto his left wrist, and now Indianapolis has called for a timeout. That means we're going to see Don Mikowski sooner than we anticipated. And here are the preseason stats now for Trudeau, 13 out of 17. So the Colts continue to lead 6-0, but they'll make a quarterback change apparently with 8 minutes to go in the second quarter. 6-0 Indianapolis. This is Los Angeles Raiders football. Ski takes over, 7th-year pro out of Virginia, 1st year with Indianapolis. Last year started the first 3 games for Green Bay and then suffered the strained ligaments in his left ankle, lost his job to Brett Favre. Here's Anthony Johnson on the left side, and he doesn't get much.
Talking to Mikowski today, he's ecstatic about the opportunity that he has here with the Colts. He's an excellent young quarterback, did a terrific job with Green Bay until he got hurt, and now he's here. But he likes the system very, very much. He thinks Teddy Marchibroda has done a terrific job, and he thinks he's got a chance to make a very, very outstanding contribution to this football team, and I think he can too. He's a good one.
Mikowski was in Los Angeles for a while. The Raiders took a long look at him, decided to bypass, and shortly thereafter he went to Indianapolis. 3 wide this time. Mikowski's pass was dropped by Sean Dawkins, the #1 draft pick, the rookie out of California, a guy from whom they expect big plays this year, and they do not expect many drops like that.
Dorn did a good job. Look at the coverage on the play. Very tight. He put the hand out in front, knocked the ball loose. Excellent coverage by Dorn that time, the right cornerback on the play. Man-for-man coverage.
I think you're right. I think you have to credit. I spoke a little too soon when I just called that a drop. Dorn did a nice job of getting his right hand in there and helped batting it loose.
Yeah, he put the cleaver in there that time and jarred it loose.
Here comes Eddie Miller wide to the right. Mikowski under some pressure. Howie Long after him, says Anthony Smith, dodges away. And there's the elusive ability of Don Mikowski, picking up nice yardage before he's knocked down by Jones. An 11-yard pickup by Mikowski. There's always been a guy who's been able to run with that football.
Yeah, then it looked like he was going through a pinball machine there, the way he was bouncing around. Watch this. Gets bounced down, hit from the back. This time he makes a move, goes to the inside, and finally he slides into second base right in the middle of the field. Picks up a nice gain on the play. Look at this. Look at the missed tackle on the play by Smith.
And a nice move to get away from Winston Moss.
And Mike Jones finally, number 52, finally made the tackle.
So they are across midfield with a first down at the 48-yard line. Anthony Johnson coming off the right side. Mike Jones is after him, and he's got him. Dan Land comes in to finish him off.
That was a counter play. They were faking to the left side to create an opportunity for the guard and the tackle on the left side to pull. However, there was leakage on the play. The guard and the tackle didn't get out. No place to run for the back because there's no blockers. They were stuck in a foxhole on the play, and as a result, no gain on the play.
Mike Jones played all 16 games with the Raiders last year after playing with Sacramento of the World League during the spring. So it was a busy year for Mike Jones last year. Now after a loss of 2 yards after the fine play by Jones and Land, it's 2nd and 12. McCaskey's pass incomplete. And Keith Traylor
See, those are the
would have liked to have had that one.
Yeah, those are the kind of plays you have to make. Follow the bouncing ball. See, look at it. He throws the ball, and that's the place to throw the ball in the middle with that coverage like it was. He should have made the interception, but didn't. And as a result, why the Colts are still in business. And they would have gotten the chance to have good field position on that interception.
Keith Traylor started 3 games last year for the Denver Broncos. Played with Denver in 1991 and 92. Disappointed, didn't get the pick there. And now Mikowski will operate out of the shotgun. He's got Anthony Johnson back there with him.
Here again, you got something in the middle if you can get somebody in that area.
He's looking that way, and he goes for him over the middle, Hank. It's exactly right, but it's an incomplete pass, trying to get it to the former Ram Aaron Cox.
Right. And the great thing about Cox, he's got lightning speed, you know, and once he catches the ball, again, that kind of a ball in the middle, you have to throw it to numbers about 1.5 yards out in front of the numbers, so he doesn't break.
Starks back at his own 35, getting ready to punt. Darryl Hobbs back deep for the Raiders. Nice high kick. Hobbs signaling for a fair catch. He makes it sure-handed at the 12-yard line. That's where the Raiders will take over again with very poor field position after a 37-yard punt. 6-0 Indianapolis. This is Los Angeles Raiders football. There you see Kevin Call, who we're told got his bell rung a little bit and is questionable for the rest of the game. Right now the Raiders push back to their 17-yard line where Marinovich sends Napoleon McCallum in motion. Gaston Green trying to follow McCallum around that right side, and not much there at all.
No chance whatsoever. It looked like a screen play, which you're trying to run a play with screen blocking, the way that thing didn't develop on the play.
Here you're looking at Gaston Green with the Rams 88-90 and with Denver 91 and 92. Art Shell wants to see his offense start to crank it up, but the way they've had field position, they really haven't had much of an opportunity. They have not started a drive outside the Raiders' own 20-yard line here in the ballgame. Back at the 10-yard line. Marinovich retreats into his own end zone. Got the completion of James Jett, but for a very short gain.
Say, talking about this is not an excuse, this is the fact. The first drive, they had to start on their 20, then they're minus 16, they're 20, minus 15, and minus 12. Boy, that's murder. Watch this now. Look at the pass protection. It's good, especially when you throw from the end zone. Had plenty of time to throw the ball, hits the receiver, and picks up nice yardage on the play. Here again, good poise, good vision, good anticipation, and he throws the ball right where you have to throw it, right in the middle of the numbers, and that part of the field especially.
That was James Jett with the reception. He's a real speedster. Was a gold medalist in the Olympics last year with the 400-meter relay team. Marinovich airing it out, looking for Darryl Hobbs. It's a fight for the football, and it is incomplete. Coverage on the play by Ray Buchanan, the rookie out of Louisville, who is having an outstanding camp. And there's Darryl Hobbs, the Raiders' leading receiver so far here in the preseason. Chris Good, Ray Buchanan, but Buchanan, I think, in the primary coverage.
See, that time, I think, had he had a chance to throw the ball just a little bit quicker, see, it was kind of underthrown. If you're ever going to be wrong, you got to be wrong long. Throw it beyond the receiver and not behind him, and that's exactly what happened in the play. But had he thrown the ball sooner, there might have been a chance.
3 and out for the Raiders. Let's see if the Colts try to come on a block. Now they're going to sit up for a return, and that's not a bad idea with Verdun. Line drive kick. Verdun chasing after the ball, and it gets by him. Verdun couldn't handle it, and what appeared to be a bad punt turns into a great punt for the Raiders. 56 yards. And now we have a fight breaking out at the 25-yard line in a big pile-up.
That's one of those boys will be boys things. Nobody gets hurt.
And guess who? Joe Kelly. Why am I not surprised when Kelly's in the middle of things?
They got everything separated. Kelly's right, as you mentioned, right in the middle of the action.
He was tangling with Michael Ball. Joe Kelly plays every down with tremendous intensity. Here's a kid who grew up in Los Angeles, Jefferson High School. And he wants to make a real impact with the Los Angeles Raiders this year. As you can see, he started with Cincinnati, played with the Bengals from '86 through '89, then with the Jets from '90 to '92. He is a tough guy.
And I tell you, talk about tough, this defense have played very tough, and it's a miracle, really, with the way they played, with the field position, I should say.
Right.
The way it is, that they're only behind 6-0. They're just one play away from taking over the lead to get a touchdown. Of course,
We have illegal motion on the kicking team. We'll go back and
to get him, good coverage.
They've got people bouncing around along that line of scrimmage. Good snap for Gossett. They're setting up for a return on the right side. Verdun fields it at the 43. Here he comes. Across midfield and out of bounds at the Raider 46-yard line. A 47-yard punt and a 10-yard return for Verdun, which for him was below par.
Well, they did a good job with coverage that time. They put him in jail. They were coming down to force him to run down the sideline. They had it surrounded with somebody in front, somebody in the side, somebody behind him. He had no place to go on the play.
Here's two Hall of Famers for you, Hank, sitting side by side. Al Davis, screen right, owner of the Raiders. Jim Otto, so long, a great center for the Oakland Raiders. You know, as a result of that penalty, Hank, the Raiders lost 27 yards in that situation when they had to re-kick.
Look at all the room outside throwing the ball. See if he's changing the play at the line of scrimmage. No, he's running the ball again.
And it's Roosevelt Potts, and he doesn't get much. Down to the 45-yard line where it will be 2nd and 8. We talk about Hall of Fame, and the Raiders have had 8 of them. The last one to go in was Al Davis, but you see Fred Biletnikoff, George Blanda, Willie Brown, the great cornerback, the owner of the Raiders, Ted Hendricks, the Stork, Jim Otto, the center, who we saw up there with Al, of course, the head coach, Art Shell, and his old line mate, Gene Upshaw.
And it's easy to understand, looking at this list, why they have won like they have won. You win with people, and there's another shot of Freddie Biletnikoff, one of the best possession pass receivers in the business.
This time Sean Dawkins hangs on to the pass from Don Mikowski. He is going to be short of a first down. They're looking for things in short chunks right now, and Dan Land made the tackle. Sean Dawkins, formation, 3rd and about 1.5 yards.
They ought to run left if they run. Let's see what transpires. Then they go left.
And it's Rodney Calder, their short yardage back. Eddie Anderson brings him down. Close to the first down.
And that's where you have to run. They had a man-on-man situation, 3 guys blocking three guys and the lead back, so you got an advantage. If you don't make yardage on that play, forget about it. You better let the air out of the ball. You can't win.
Well, that's a good job by the Raider defense. They stopped them in that 3rd and yard and a half situation. Trudeau, we understand, has a bruised left hand. They're calling him questionable, but I'm sure we won't see him again tonight. Coming down to the 2-minute warning, but it appears as though they'll get this play off as they go for it now on 4th and inches. Now they're going to wait for the 2-minute warning to come up. So the first half has 2 minutes remaining in it. Referee Dale Hamer will signal for the 2-minute warning. There it is. The Colts leading the Los Angeles Raiders by a count of 6-0. This is Los Angeles Raiders football.
In this situation, 4th and inches, most of the time the rule of thumb is if you have inches to go, you let the quarterback run a quarterback sneak. Or in the preseason, if you want to look at some other people and see what they do with the offensive line and get a surge, and also the big back running the ball, they might run it. But normally, see, you got a big hole over the right guard. Now they're going to go with the back.
And it was Rodney Culver getting the first down. And Joe Kelly came up to trip him up, but he had the first down easily. Mikowski in trouble, avoids a tackle attempt by Anthony Smith. Smith still after him, throws it upfield. It is caught by Sean Dawkins, but he's out of bounds.
Out of bounds. Not even close. He's out of bounds. Good coverage on the play. Smith provided a good rush, and he's a very outstanding rusher. Got 13 sacks last year. Watch Smith this time. But he gets outside containment. and tells him to go down the field. He does, but he catches the ball in the snow. Catches the ball in the snow, that white area there, that's out of bounds.
That was Brian Jones with the late rush at him, and Mikowski, though, you can tell, can still run that football.
Oh, he's a very, very talented quarterback. Good judgment.
Steps up in the pocket.
Again, he is. Good read.
Tight end Kerry Cash was knocked out of bounds by Torrin Dorn after he stepped out of a tackle attempt by Dan Lamb. But he did get out of bounds. And that stops the clock with 1:17 remaining in the first half. Kerry Cash, the tight end, caught a 13-yard touchdown pass from Trudeau last week. I loved Trudeau's explanation. They asked him to explain the play. He says, look, it's simple. You throw it to him, he catches it, you slap 5 and go home.
Very simple. That's right.
Mikowski 2 for 6 so far, 14 of 28 a week ago. He wants to go deep with it. Got a lot of room to run. Across the 20, the 15, finally knocked down.
Say, why did he have all that room? He didn't have the room because he was bump and run, man for man. The defense turns his back on the offensive people because they have to coverage. There's nobody there to see what the quarterback is doing. Look at this. Now look at, there's nobody out there because they're chasing downfield, trying to get involved in coverage with a man for man.
They have 3 wide receivers, but one of them is their running back, Anthony Johnson, wide left. Mikowski scanning the field, and he hits Johnson underneath. And oh, look at the tackle by Jones. Mike Jones with a brutal hit leveled Anthony Johnson.
Yeah, you see that 52 Jones. Now that was not a tackle, that was a hit. Look at the hit he makes here. You talk about a knockout blow. He looked like Tyson on this play.
And that is why we like to say football's not a contact sport, it's a collision sport. Mikowski in trouble. Jones with the sack. Look at Mike Jones go.
I'm going to tell you something. This defense of the Raiders is going to have a super year if they can stay healthy. They really have an outstanding defensive line. Linebackers are improving. They still, I think, need another linebacker. Their secondary, they have outstanding competition. And again, don't be deceived by what the preseason record indicates so far. I think if they get help at the quarterback position, they get outstanding speed outside, a very good offensive line. There's no reason why they shouldn't really surprise a lot of people and be the dark horse in that division.
Mike Jones with 2 very big plays back-to-back for the Raiders. First that hit on Anthony Johnson and then making the tackle, bringing up a 3rd and 9 now for Indianapolis, which has taken its
big one into the end zone. Or you might even try a crossing pattern where the defensive backs have to chase all the way across the field to cover. Let's see what he chooses to do.
Raiders bring their starting defensive line into the ball game. Mikowski, good protection this time, into the end zone, and no one near.
Now that was just a badly thrown ball. I think he was looking to the left to try to make a play and quickly decided to throw right and got rid of the ball just to avoid a sack. And it was just a badly thrown ball.
Well, the Raider defense refuses to be broken down tonight.
No, you have to give credit where credit is due. It isn't a very sensational looking game as far as artistically speaking, offensively is concerned, but I tell you, there's a lot of things, positive things about this Raider football team that I think is going to be good down the line as far as this squad is concerned.
Now the Raiders are going to call for a timeout here, as Biasucci. Steinberg has a reputation as a guy who doesn't like his people holding out. He wants them in camp, trying to work out their differences. Now the attempted field goal here by Biasucci. A 29-yard field goal attempt, and it is good. And it leaves the Raiders with very little time here for the remainder of the first half, only 16 seconds. Here's Todd Marinovich, who hasn't had much of an opportunity here so far. He's certainly been backed up with terrible field position for the Raiders tonight. We expect to see Marinovich play some in the 3rd quarter, and then they'll probably go to Billy Joe Hobart. Vince Evans really not slated to play tonight. As the Raiders, and we've seen it in several different areas along the line and in the backfield, Hank, they're trying to give a lot of kids an opportunity to play tonight. They want to look at a lot of people, because next week's game, the last preseason game, you're kind of looking at your team at that point.
Yeah, but the big thing is they have to cut. They have to cut down to 60 this week. And I talked to Al Davis and talked to the coaches, and they were very emphatic about the fact that they wanted to make sure they made every possible look to make sure that they didn't cut anybody or lose somebody by not being able to pass judgment because they didn't see him long enough in competition. And that's the purpose of this game tonight. So again, I hate to belabor the point, but that's the philosophy, and that's what they're trying to get done, and that's what they're doing.
And so that results in not, of course, having the timing that you normally would have in the situation where you'd have an offense clicking. And whereas a week ago, where they moved the ball steadily against Dallas, the offense, and moved it up and down the field, but just couldn't get it into the end zone. Really, tonight, they have not done that. They have had 19 plays from scrimmage, and they've only had one play longer than 7 yards. Biasucci getting ready to kick off. The Raiders have Sam Grady back along with Gaston Green.
I wonder, Evans, I see him warming up the soup bone on the sideline, whether they're going to put him in right before the end of the half.
Squib kick, fumbled, and then recovered by the Raiders at the 28-yard line. It was Jordan who fell on the ball. And this, believe it or not, with the ball at the 28-yard line, is the best field position the Raiders have had to start a drive today.
Yeah, that's incredible, isn't it? And they had the same kind of a situation, really, against San Francisco. That field position was very, very bad.
Raiders have but 13 seconds remaining in the first half. And they've got James Lofton behind Marinovich, which indicates the Raiders are just going to sit on it here. Marinovich will go to a knee, and that'll end the first half of play. They won't try anything exotic, so that's it. The Raiders will go to the locker room, down by 9 points, following 3 Dean Biasucci field goals. That's the end of the first half with the score. The Indianapolis Colts 9 and the Los Angeles Raiders nothing. This is Los Angeles Raiders football. Colts here have a fairly wide edge in statistics. 136 total yards to the Raiders, only 47 yards. So the Raiders did not do much offensively in that first half. Again, plagued by terrible field position. They managed to get only 15 yards through the air. Although the time of possession, interestingly enough, was not that much different between the two teams, about 17 and a half to 12 and a half. That's Clarence Verdun back deep. He is along with Rodney Culver. And here's the kick by Jeff Jager, and Verdun is going to get it on his 2-yard line. Straight up the middle. Dan Land after him, can't get him. Verdun bursts across the 25-yard line up to the 28-yard line before he's brought down there by Mike Jones and Elvis Patterson.
Yeah, Verdun last year averaged 19.6 on kickoff returns. But as we talked about earlier, you know, he's one of the very best in the business. He's very decisive, quick, and fast. And he sees any kind of a hole, why he's going to squirt through it very quickly.
He plays the role of a third receiver on this team. There's a lot of guys fighting it out for that 4th spot right now, including Aaron Cox, who's into the ball game right now, along with Sean Dawkins on the left side. Give Harris to Potts, bounces off the tackler, that pinball action of Roosevelt Potts, and then he comes up and he is bumped off his feet very hard.
See, the pursuit came right down the line of scrimmage, desperately to close the gaps, and as a result, Potts was able to bounce outside. Now watch, look at the inside. Look at 56 holding the offensive tackle. As a result, he's carried all the way inside. As a result, he can't make the play on the outside, and as a result, Potts makes extra yardage on the play.
Real nice hit there by Darren Butler for the Raiders, a rookie cornerback out of Alcorn State. Gain is 3 yards on the play, and Potts straight up the middle. Oh, he stumbles forward. He's got a first down. If he could have kept his feet, he might have had a lot more than that. Ricky Dixon bringing him down right at about the 40-yard line, and a first down
for the Colts.
8 carries, 41 yards for Roosevelt Potts, who remains the lone running back. Mikowski rifles a pass to Sean Dawkins, who's got it at midfield, and then squirms forward. Ricky Dixon at him from behind.
See, the other thing about the Cole offense, you know, they drop back about 5 steps basically all the time. They don't get deep like 7 yards, and they get rid of the ball quickly. That time again, the end was knocked down on a play. Couldn't get the rush on. They had plenty of time to throw the ball, and they pick up another first down.
Ball is across the 50 now to the 49. Go back to 2 wideouts, and they bring Rodney Culver in to join Potts in the backfield. down after a short gain. Andre Bruce, ball must have come free. There's a lot of rolling around down below, and now another fight breaking out. Kirk Loudermilk is the guy in the middle of it for the Indianapolis Colts. It's his first year with the Colts, by the way. There you see Loudermilk. He was an unrestricted free agent, signed here March 29th. He was a starter at Minnesota from 1987, so they got a good one there to play that center position.
I guarantee he's a good one. He's been around for a long time, as you indicated, and has had very good technique, smart.
Unnecessary roughness.
Doesn't make many
Number 59
mistakes.
on the defense. 15 yards. First down.
For Indianapolis in the first half, 5 possessions, 3 times resulting in field goals, twice punting, but as you can see, they did not have to move the ball too far to get into position to kick those field goals. And now after the penalty to the Raiders here, the ball is marked at the 32-yard line. First and 10 for Indianapolis. 12:19 to go, third quarter. It's the Colts leading the Raiders 9-0. Rich Marotta along with Hank Stram.
They should run right if they run here in this play. Let's see what happens. Yeah, right up the middle.
And it's Rodney Culver, penalty flag thrown. Culver brought down by Anthony Bell and Brian Jones. There's an injured Colt on the field. Now we've got another fight going on, and a very angry Raider, Akili Calhoun, the rookie from Hawaii, and tempers are getting very short at this point.
Normally when you get that kind of reaction from a defensive lineman,
Number 63 of the
there's
offense. 10 yards.
holding on the play, a malicious holding penalty, and that's what he was squeaking about, I'm sure.
Cannot see the
88, he comes into the picture from the left side and gives him a shot in the back, and that's really what caused the problem.
And Dixon now on the bench. 88 is Kerry Cash. Mikowski back to pass. Finds Roosevelt Potts. We told you he can catch that football, and he displays it there. Comes across the 35-yard line to the 34.
And that was the first screen pass that was thrown by either one of the two teams here this evening. And it was very successful and picked up a nice gain on the play. Why do you run screens? You take advantage of a severe rush with screens. You let it come up the field like it's going to be a pass, and then you throw on the outside. You pull the tackle, the center, and the guard on that side with a hope and expectation that you're going to make a nice gain down the field, and that's exactly what they did on the last play. They got bump and run on the outside on the left to see if they try to make a big play. Here he goes.
Mikowski looks over the middle, and he's got Aaron Cox over the middle. Cox double teamed immediately and brought down, but not before he has a nice pickup. Addison on the tackle for the Raiders, and Johnson.
That's a bump and run on the outside. That's the quarterbacks love to see that. And I think anytime that you see that situation, you ought to try to get a ball out there because you have about 10 chances in a game to make a big play. Here it is, bump and run. Look at it. See, normally, he made a little move like he's going outside, came inside. The guy's got to chase it from the outside in, makes the catch, and takes advantage of the one-on-one coverage on the play. Now, you can either do that running up the sideline for a big play and a long gain, or if he's playing outside leverage like he was on the play, you're going to break inside and make the catch.
Now you're looking at a Brian Addison, but they've moved him back. The play does not count. Holding penalty against Indianapolis. Mikowski now takes a deep drop, then dumps it off to Roosevelt Potts, and the big guy is running, rambling down to the 31-yard line. Before Ricky Dixon brings him down, a 13-yard pickup, and Roosevelt Potts is doing it all tonight for the Indianapolis Colts.
And there again, that's a screen pass. You see, he sets up like he's going to throw the ball, dumps it over to the left side. See that? And he goes, gets a good block inside, brings the ball down inside of the field, right down the numbers, but he carries the ball incorrectly. He's got the ball in the right arm. He ought to have it in the left arm because that's where all the traffic is coming from.
3 wide now on 3rd and 9. Mikowski has a completion, but well short of the first down. Hitting Ed Miller. Randy Dixon just went into the... Dixon had a long one tonight. Biasucci's kicked him from 22, 23, and 29 yards. He's being asked to do a little bit more on this one, 43 yards away. And the kick is up. It's plenty long, but it's wide left. Wide left, no good.
See, in this kind of a game, you know, where you're having trouble with field position and the offense, you got to make plays with the specialty teams and defense. You got to get the ball back somehow to get field position and make a big play.
So the Raiders continue to trail by only 9 with 9:18 to go in the third quarter. This is Los Angeles Raiders football. Oh, they're giving a lot of youngsters a lot of playing time tonight. The Raiders are going to find out who can play in the National Football League. Right now in the backfield they have Napoleon McCallum and Greg Robinson. Here's a pass by Marinovich, and it is incomplete. Intended for James Lofton, who was anything but a kid. But Lofton couldn't hang on to that one. The great 16-year pro out of Stanford.
Very unusual that you see James miss that kind of a pass. It should have been a catch.
And Hank, as you can see, the Raiders did not go too far on their drives in the first half. They had only one that moved. Their fourth drive there, they picked up 20 yards before having to punt. Todd Marinovich so far 7 of 13, 54 yards, one interception. Here's Robinson, shrugs off a hard hit and keeps on running, and he's got running room down the sideline. Just one man to beat, and he's going to race away from him. He's being chased from behind, and Greg Robinson goes all the way for the Los Angeles Raiders, an 80-yard run.
See, there you go. That's that one play that gets you into the ball game. Even though it's a preseason game, it's a big play and it provides a lot of motivation for this offensive team. Let's see how they respond from here on in. A great, great run by Robinson.
He appeared to be tackled for a short gain, and he just kind of shrugged it off, Hank. The rookie out of Northeast Louisiana.
You judge the great backs by how many yards they make after they've been hit. This is a great illustration of it here. Now look, he's running to the left side. A good hit here, another good hit there. Now look at all the yardage after he got hit twice. That's what determines what really the great backs are, because of that ability to get hit, maintain balance, and go in for big scores and big gains. Beautiful job of running by Robinson.
First, Quentin Coriat with a fine hit, and then Jason Belzer appeared to have them both wrapped up. But neither man could bring him down, and Greg Robinson totes that football 80 yards to put the Raiders right back in it. An electrifying run by Greg Robinson. And the Raiders suddenly find themselves down by only 2 points as he shrugs off tackles from Coriat and Belzer and takes it all the way. This is Los Angeles Raiders football. To 5901. Don't forget that opener coming up September 5th against Minnesota. Here's the book by Jeff Jager. Rodney Culver takes it 3 yards deep in the end zone. Wants to come out to the left side, being chased, gets across the 20. He's across the 30. He's got plenty of running room, and finally Ricky Dixon brings it down at the 40-yard line. And suddenly things open up. Rodney Culver.
See, that's murder. You get a big lift by your offense, and then you permit by the specialty teams, say, to let this guy bring the ball back and get very, very good field position on the play. He's running to his right with the ball in the right arm, which is wrong. He gets hit from that inside. The ball flies loose. So you get a good shot at the ball when he's running down the sideline, running to his left with the ball in the right arm. But he got away with it.
There's the hero of the night so far for the Los Angeles Raiders, Greg Robinson.
And how about Robinson and Potts both playing at the same school? Northeast Louisiana. Imagine what kind of a team they were.
Greg Robinson, an 8th-round draft choice for the Raiders. Set the school career record at Northeast Louisiana with 22 career touchdowns. And his teammate from that team, as Hank mentioned, Roosevelt Potts, doing a heck of a job tonight for Indianapolis. There's a pass over the middle, grabbed by Sean Dawkins, Ricky Dixon on the tackle, and Sean Dawkins now beginning to show what he can do.
Yeah, and again, this offense is a dink and dunk. It's like going to Dunkin' Donuts, the way they throw the football, because they're a possession kind of a team. They get an opportunity to go up on top, they will, but they murder you. They're very patient, and they throw the ball inside the corners and between the linebackers. They create a lot of problems.
He's really got nice size, Dawkins, 6'4", 213. He's got those soft hands to go with him. 3 wide this time.
Now look at the left side. They're off this time. You ought to throw the ball in front of the right corner. See if he's changing the play, what he does, and they throw it in front of one of those quarterbacks. We'll see what he does.
Well, the guy on the left is Dawkins, but they're going to hand the ball to Roosevelt Potts instead.
See, that's a wasted play. That's like throwing popcorn at a battleship. You know, is not going to get you anywhere. And as a result, you got a chance to do something one-on-one on the outside. You got to take advantage of that opportunity. If you're a professional football team, all you have to do is execute and get the ball out there in that one-on-one situation.
I thought you were going to save some of these lines for the regular season.
Oh, I got a lot of them left.
I know. That's what I'm afraid of. There's Greg Robinson. 80-yard touchdown run.
See, now it's double zone. They ought to throw the ball inside in the middle.
Yeah. Here's the rush and the sack. Greg Townsend gets the sack for Los Angeles. Townsend, at 31 years old, in much better shape this year than he was a year ago when he had that contract pulled out. And as you can see, he's the #1 AFC active career sack man with 110 years. That's not a bad average.
Look at 93, coming inside the offensive tackle, taking an inside rush and getting penetration, making the sack. A great play by Greg Townsend, number 93.
Townsend in the Pro Bowl in 1990 and 91 at 12.5 and 13 sacks in those 2 years. Looks to be coming back very strong this year.
See, that goes back to what we talked about a moment ago. The defense has to come up with some big plays. You got a big play. Somebody's got to pick up the slack when you play this kind of a game. Now we got the big run. Now we got a sack, and things are moving in the right direction for the Raiders.
Number 74 in the defense, 5 yards, still third down.
That's Nolan Harrison who was called for the encroachment penalty. That was Nolan who was smiling and shaking his head. It's still 3rd and long for Indianapolis here, 3rd and 14. If you're just joining us, the Colts lead the Raiders 9-7. We have 6:50 to go in the 3rd quarter. I'm Rich Marotta along with Hank Stram, and we're live tonight on KCAL at the Hoosier Dome.
Inside, something inside. That's the place to go. Is 3rd in the taxi ride for a first down.
Kowski steps up, drills the pass. It's complete to Reggie Langhorne. No, to Eddie Miller. It was Miller who made the grab and a 32-yard pickup.
See, they were protecting the outside. The middle was open. Mikowski, a guy with his poise and experience and leadership quality, still was able to read what was happening and got the ball right there in the middle where it had to be thrown. So he escapes from the pressure, knows exactly where he has to throw the ball, throws it inside. That's a soft spot, and he makes the play. Hear it again. See, the artful Dodger on that play, and that's what he's able to do so well.
He reaches the 24-yard line. Torn Dorn was the man who touched him down. Potts, the lone remaining back. He gets the football off of right guard, and he's tripped up in the backfield by Andre Bruce, falls forward. And he was finished off there by Jones.
Townsend got good penetration also on the play. 93, he looks like he's, as much as they've thrown the ball, talking about the Colts, they haven't run a draw play yet.
Kowski looking for it all. Touchdown, Sean Dawkins. 23 yards, Mikowski to Dawkins. And that is one impressive rookie.
Here it is. 5-step drop, throwing a slant inside down to the sideline area. You couldn't tell for sure whether that was a zone or whether it was man for man. It looked like it was man for man, but you had some help underneath. The ball is right on the money, perfectly thrown. Touchdown for the Colts. They come right back and get the touchdown themselves.
You can see already, Hank, he knows how to get open.
Oh, yeah, he knows how to get open, but I tell you, the magic man knows how to get the ball there, and he knows where to look.
Kick by Biasucci is good. Dawkins now has 4 receptions, 52 yards, including that one for the touchdown, which gives the Indianapolis Colts a 16-7 lead over the Raiders. This is Los Angeles Raider football. It's a 16-7 lead now for the Indianapolis Colts after the 23-yard touchdown pass from Mikowski to Sean Dawkins. He doesn't want to let that football go, Hank.
No, he's got a nail at the end of that ball that's stuck to his side. Nobody's going to get that ball.
He's caught 4 tonight for 52 yards, and the Colt fans are up and yelling. And there's the boot by Biasucci. For the Raiders, this is Charles Jordan. And once again, the Raiders are victims of excellent special teams play on kick coverage by the Indianapolis Colts.
Here's a replay of that touchdown again. It is man-for-man coverage. Got plenty of time to throw the ball. Butler, a rookie who was not even on the depth chart from Elkhorn A&M, was covering on the play. Hawkins beats him on the play. Look at this. It's bump and run. He gives him a little bump, and he runs right by him, right by the rookie Butler. Look at it. The longer they go, why the bigger the separation. And that's what happened on the play. A rookie trying to make this team with his name not even on the depth chart, covering on the play. Tough assignment.
Raiders have an injured player. It is Dan Turk, who always plays on special teams, and he is the second team center for the Raiders. And so he's been snapping the ball in this situation, and so Turk will come out. And Billy Joe Hobart will now come out for the Los Angeles Raiders. This is the second time we've seen Billy Joe in action. We saw him play late in the game against the San Francisco 49ers. He's 6'3", 225 pounds. He was the Raiders' third-round draft choice, overall the 58th player taken out of the University of Washington. And he did pretty good in his brief appearance against the 49ers when he completed 3 out of 4 passes.
Yeah, I saw him for 4 days when the Raiders were working out against the Cowboys. This guy looks like a very, very good prospect. He's got a great soup bone. I tell you, he can really throw the ball.
They've got their first-string defensive line out there now for Indianapolis, with the exception of Sam Clancy, the old veteran, replaces Steve Epton. Here's Greg Robinson, and Robinson is buried. Quentin Coriat coming up to make the tackle, along with Siragusa. Coriat missed 9 games last year after he suffered a displaced bone in his left wrist, but he is a gifted athlete, to say the least, and was the second overall pick in the draft, right behind Epman last year. Jack Trudeau enjoying life on the sidelines right now, named the starting quarterback for the regular season opener, Jeff George notwithstanding.
See if they run left here. Here they come.
And it's Greg Robinson. He's got a hole over there on the left side, but Coriat comes up quickly from that linebacker position to finish him off after he was tripped up by Pegues.
Well, they got a reception committee meeting him at that play.
I think Coriat's a little fired up because he had that clear shot on Greg Robinson on that touchdown run, Hank, and he blasted him, but still Robinson was able to shrug him off, and wasn't going to let him go this time.
Okay, watch the play to the left side. The right guard was pulling on the play, no place to go. The linebacker came in there nicely, as Rich mentioned, and made the play. Coriat.
3:54 to go in the third quarter, 16-7 Colts. Raiders with a 3rd and 8. Hobart in trouble. Races to his right, unloads the pass. It's incomplete, intended for Andrew Glover. And so the Raiders will be forced into a punting situation, and they'll bring out Jeff Gossett.
Sam Clancy that time putting pressure on the quarterback. They had a blitz on up the middle also, and looked like he had to escape from the inside pressure. Try to get the ball outside, incomplete.
4th punt now for Jeff Gossett, who you're looking at, his 12th year in the NFL, 6th with the Raiders, was the Pro Bowl punter for the AFC just 2 years ago. Last year averaged 42.5 yards per punt. Here's a big rush on, but Gossett gets it away. Dan calling for and making the fair catch with Elvis Patterson ready to blast him if he had any other ideas.
See, very rarely will they ever try to rush a kicker with Verdan back there, because he's always got a chance for the big play.
This is Los Angeles Raiders football. Travel.
Agonizing about what's happened. Look at that big ring. It's almost as big as ours, the one we won at Kansas City.
I can't agree with you on that one, Hank.
Yeah. See if they run right here, if they run.
They got Potts and Culver split in the backfield.
Here they are,
Rodney
boys.
Culver running right behind the lead blocking of Roosevelt Potts. And he is brought down by Anthony Bell.
And talking to Teddy Marchibroda, I asked him about his approach to the game. He said, listen, we're going to be very, very basic, very fundamental. We're just going to execute, get repetitions, try to get better every week. And that's the way they're playing. They haven't even used, he's famous for the no-huddle offense.
Right.
They haven't even unwrapped that yet. It's still in the box.
Didn't really work for him last year, though, did it, Hank?
Well, it would have, except they lost a quarterback, George, and then they decided to do what they could do best, and they canned it. And they'll use it again when the time is right. But there's a great illustration what coaching is all about. You do what you're capable of doing. Just because they had success with Kelly at Buffalo, that doesn't mean you can do the same thing here.
Right. There was Brian Addison making the play on Rodney Culver. Addison, a rookie out of Hawaii. Watch Culver, he fumbled it.
Fumbled the ball, but it took a nice bounce.
That sets up a 3rd and 5.
And Addison came in there, filled nicely, number 24, to make the tackle.
Mikowski looking. Protection breaking down. Now here comes Greg Townsend after Mikowski. Penalty flags flying. Mikowski with that running ability, caught from behind finally by Andre Bruce, and we'll wait to see how the penalties work themselves out.
See, he's got a great feel for pressure. You know, he gets a whiff of the pressure, and he doesn't hesitate, doesn't do it.
Dale Hamer was about to call a holding penalty, I think, against Indianapolis, but they may also be calling one the other way, so the other officials were yelling at him to hold it up.
Holding number 73 of the offense. Holding number 27 of the defense. Penalties offset. 3rd down.
So they'll do it again. They'll run it again, 3rd and 5. The penalty. Mikowski over the middle. Incomplete. Johnson on the coverage, intended for Miller.
Good coverage on the play on the part of Johnson.
Here comes Brian Jones to grab Miller and push Miller away, and Miller didn't like that. Miller wants more of a little bit of Ferret Collins as well. Miller's ready to take on everybody. Miller, as I mentioned, on the bubble, so he's trying to do whatever he can to make this football team.
Yeah, but if you're going to get involved in a pugilistic event, you better look at the guy's number. If it's a big number, you forget it.
Miller's not that big, 185 pounds.
No, that's right. He better think about that twice and then jump in a foxhole.
Here's Ron Stark kicking to Daryl Hobbs of the Raiders. Drives Hobbs back to the 13-yard line, coming straight up the middle, trying to take what he can get, and he's got a lot up the right sideline, across the 40, breaks away up to the 45-yard line, and finally brought down by Rodney Culver. Nice return by Daryl Hobbs after a 45-yard punt, a 33-yard return.
See, that's what you have to have. You have to have some big plays, specialty teams, defense, offense, everything. In this kind of a game, especially when you're having trouble in one category, like they have been offensively and field position-wise.
Penalties again.
Holding number 26 of the receivers. Post-possession foul. Penalized from the spot of change of possession. 1st down.
So the Raiders will be marched back, and that nice run back will not count. Dennis Johnson is the man called for the penalty. Boy, they're going to take him way back.
Yep. Every time something good happens for them, it seems like they give it to the rear march and they go backwards.
Look at this, all the way back to the 7-yard line. There's an Indianapolis Colts fan who shows his colors and wears his colors.
Especially when you're winning.
The Raiders continuing now with Todd Pete moving over from the guard position to take the center snap.
Now they're going to run right, I think. Yeah, here they go.
McCallum following Robinson over there. Not anywhere to run.
Looks like they played with about 13 guys defensively that time, the way they reacted.
Michael Brandon there to make the hit. Billy Joe Hobart looking at his wristband. That's where he's got the plays written down, and he checks with the bench. They send him in, and Hobart checks on his wristband.
Watch Stephen Grant. Look at this. Number 59. He gets the penetration and makes the tackle underneath the pile there. 59. Now he's walking the dog. Look at that. What is he, walking the moon or what?
Pickup of a yard, 2nd and 9. Hobart back to his own end zone. Look out, Billy Joe, being chased around back there. Fires it. It's complete to Hobbs, and he's got room to run. Comes across the 25-yard line up to the 26. Daryl Hobbs has got terrific hands, and he picks up 19 yards on the play, and a good job by Billy Joe Hobert, too, to get it to him.
Yes, sir. He escaped from the pressure and got the ball, and Hobbs not only got pretty good hands, he's got pretty good feet, too. Look at this. He's looking to his left, and then he goes to his right, escapes, sees Hobbs open, dumps the ball off to him, and Hobbs does the rest. He made a great catch, leaping high to make that reception. Look at him catch himself before he falls and takes the ball out with good field position.
Hobbs spent last year on the developmental squad for the Raiders, but making a big statement to try to make this football team this year. Hobert, right side, pass intercepted, stolen by Michael Ball, and just like that, the Raiders turn it over. Michael Ball, 6-year player from Southern University. Makowski stays in there, quickly over the middle, nearly intercepted. Brian Jones had his hands on it. If he could have hung on, he had a clear lane up the right sideline.
That's two passes that should have been caught by the defense for big plays had they made the catch.
Billy Joe Hobert standing right behind Vince Evans, and now going to take a little bit of a walk. Disappointed. He tried to get that ball to Daryl Hobbs, who was covered short and long on that play. Now it's 2nd and 10. And Stasiak never did snap that football.
No, he didn't. He should have, because he...
Number 64, 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
'64 is Trevor Matich.
And here again, I mentioned this before, but with all the throwing that's going on and with a rush like it is, I still haven't seen a draw by either one of these two teams. I've seen a couple of screens by the Colts, but no draw.
1 second to go in the third quarter. On 2nd and 15, Makowski swings it over on the right side to Roosevelt Potts, and Brian Jones has got him wrapped up and finally brings him down. Well, you better wrap him up, because that is a load. Roosevelt Potts is a bear. And there's the gun sounding the end of the third quarter of play. With the score, the Indianapolis Colts 16 and the Silver and Black 7. This is Los Angeles Raiders football. Indianapolis Colts over the Los Angeles Raiders as we begin the fourth quarter of play. I'm Rich Marana, along with Hank Stram. We are at the Hoosier Dome in this fourth game of a 5-game preseason for the Raiders. Colts have the football on 3rd and 19 at the Raider 40-yard line. And there's Don Makowski, who's had a pretty good workout tonight, Hank.
Very good. Yeah, and he's performed extremely well. And talking to him, as I mentioned before the game, he was excited about the opportunity that he was going to be able to play as much as he had hoped to, and that's exactly what's happened, because Trudeau got hurt a little quicker than got out of the game a lot sooner. Now they got bump and run on the outside. Let's see if they try to go up on top. So he's seizing a play, and they made a guy jump on the defense because they were bump and run on the outside, and that's good quarterbacking. See, when you got that opportunity, you have to take advantage of the opportunity to try to make a big play.
That bump and run matchup that he was referring to.
Number 74 of the defense, 5 yards.
The call is on Nolan Harrison of the Raiders. Nolan Harrison, the third-year defensive lineman out of Indiana. Second time he's been nailed with a penalty tonight, but it was Johnson for the Raiders. The cornerback on the right side was lined up against Eddie Miller. Art Shell staying calm, but I know he's churning inside. That moves it to the 35-yard line, 3rd and 14.
Now you got to throw the ball inside in the middle if you can.
Steps up in the pocket. Here comes Ferret Collins. Collins missed him. He had him wrapped up, it appeared, and then Andre Bruce came in to finish him off for the sack. Good push by the Raider defensive line that time. There's Andre Bruce down in the bottom. Ferret Collins appeared to have a clear shot at him.
Nolan Harrison did a good job on the play, too.
Well, after 3 quarters, Hank, still Indianapolis with the margin over the Raiders in total yards of about 80 yards to the good, 237 to 153 for the Raiders. Raiders have 119 rushing yards, but 80 of those, remember, were picked up on one play by Greg Robinson.
Yes, and of course the other big stat here is 2 turnovers by the Raiders and none at all by the Colts.
Interceptions, 1 on Marinovich and 1 on Billy Joe Hobert. They're going to call a delay of game here on Indianapolis on 4th down.
Delay of game, offense, penalties decline, 4th down.
Well, the Colts took that purposely. They wanted to try to get a little room for Ron Stark to work with, so the Raiders, realizing that, just declined the penalty. So it's 37 yards. Here's the last guy who can say he was a Baltimore Colt, Ron Stark. There's one guy left who can say he was an Oakland Raider, and that's Howie Long. Not counting the people like Al Davis.
Yeah, and Howie Long just
George
came back.
Anderson.
Just came back to camp a couple of days ago.
Let it go, let it go, let
And
it
he
go.
boots it right into the end zone. Doesn't even try to do anything with it other than to do that. He booted it straight down the middle, and there's a penalty flag.
See, normally in that kind of a situation, you try to kick the ball out of bounds, or you kick one of those pooch balls that make the guy catch it, you know, about the 10-yard line. But normally a right-footed kicker in that situation would try to kick the ball to his left out of bounds, so that way if he sloughs the ball off, it still goes down the middle of the field and he doesn't waste a kick. If he's a left-footed kicker, he ought to kick it to his right for the same reason. But he kicked it right out of the... Here's Howie Long. Looks like he's in great shape and very eager to play.
Played a little bit this evening. His first
An
action
illegal
of the year.
formation. Only 6 men on the line of scrimmage on the kicking team. We have holding on the kicking team. Both penalties are declined. 1st down.
The Raiders just aren't going to give him any more room to work with. They'll take it on the 20 and be happy with that.
Just take the ball. That's it. It's a good call.
16-7, Colts leading the Raiders. We're in the 4th quarter with 14:26 to go as Howie Long take on the Rams in their preseason finale from the Big A in Anaheim. And then immediately following the game, KCAL Sports will bring you live boxing action from the Great Western Forum. Raiders versus Rams, followed by Fight Night at the Forum next Saturday night, starting at 6, only on KCAL.
You know, getting this information, they started every drive in a game on 1st down with a run. Let's see if that first time they've thrown the ball on 1st down.
All right, let's see how Colbert can do it. A little bit too far in front of Willie Galt. Incomplete. Willie Galt for the Raiders in his 11th year out of Tennessee, 32 years old. Last year caught 27 passes. He's averaged over 20 yards a catch since becoming a Raider. 2nd and 10 for Los Angeles.
See if they run left here. They do.
And it's Greg Robinson cutting inside and getting almost up to the 25-yard line. Following the blocking out in front of him of Rich Stevens.
See, that's the play they made. He ran 80 yards on. They come right back with the same play from that same formation.
Busy night in the NFL. The Detroit Lions leading Cincinnati 23-7. That's at the end of 3. And New England has defeated Green Bay 21-17 the final. And the Denver Broncos 24-10 leaders over the Miami Dolphins with play in the 3rd quarter at Mile High. 3rd and 6 for the Raiders. 3 wide. They bring in Charles Jordan and send him in motion. Colbert under pressure, forgets the ball. He is sacked, the play is over, it is not a touchdown. There's a celebration, a touchdown celebration in the end zone. It is not a touchdown. Holbert was sacked, the play was blown dead. Under tremendous pressure, and he just never had a chance.
We'll watch it again. He had no chance whatsoever. Look at him going back to the pocket. There it is. They blow the whistle. The play is dead. The ball bounces loose and no good. Goes back to where the sack was made. Chip Banks, number 51, picked it up and went into the end zone for the touchdown, but it didn't count.
Here's the boot now by Gossett on the punt. Sends Clarence Verdun back to the 35. Stutter step, avoids a tackle attempt by Aaron Wallace, runs away from another man, and finally is touched down by Glenn Young. And he actually lost yardage. There's a real rarity for Clarence Verdun after a 48-yard punt, a -4 on the return by Verdun. 16-7 lead for the Colts over the Raiders. This is Los Angeles Raiders football. (16-7), 1st and 10. Mikowski remains a quarterback for Indianapolis. He's in trouble, he's being chased, and he's going to be sacked. Glenn Young, linebacker, got him. He was chased from behind by Caspers.
See, the experience of Mikowski is very evident by the way he handles the rush. Anytime anybody touches him and if he has to go down, the first thing he does is squeeze the ball, have total control of the ball, so he doesn't lose possession of the ball. Great job. It's a very subtle thing, but very, very important. Very, very basic, but very sound.
John Baker also added some real pressure on that play. The Raiders have 4 sacks tonight.
Look at bump and run. See if they go up on top. No, 1-on-1. They're just going straight ahead with a run.
And it's Roosevelt Potts, who's led by a horde of silver and black uniformed Los Angeles Raiders. He is up to about the 34-yard line. And they're going to start working that clock apparently a little too, Hank.
Yes, I'm sure that's what they have in mind.
A pretty good night for that rookie. Averaging 4.5 yards per carry, which is better than he'd done so far in the preseason. He came in under 4 yards a carry, but certainly he's going to be the starter for this football team at fullback.
Yeah, he's like trying to tackle a rolling manhole cover. I tell you, he's tough.
Mikowski, incomplete. Intended for Aaron Cox. Addison gave him a hit, and they're going to call a penalty on Addison for that hit. I don't know about that.
I question that one. We'll have to take a look at it again, but I think that's a bad call. We'll see what it is.
He had a head of steam going at Cox, but they're going to call him for a penalty. Let's take a look at it here, Hank.
Personal foul. Number 24 in the defense. Late hit. 15 yards. First down.
That's questionable. That's questionable. But he did hit him. Of course, the kid is going for the play on the receiver. I don't think that's a very flagrant thing, but obviously the official thought it was.
Well, I can't agree with that call. It took to me like there was only little more than a step made by...
Yeah, that's right. And of course his hands are up, so how does he know? He's playing to make the play, stop the play. He doesn't see the ball up there, and the ball is gone. He makes the hit right about the time it's gone. You know, I think that's a very, very questionable call. See if they run right here.
First down at the 50-yard line. Mikowski remains in. They've got Culver and Cox as their running back, and here is Culver off the right side. And he has a pickup of about 3. Down in the bottom of the pile for the Raiders, Akili Calhoun.
Well, it looks like it's going to be kind of a taffy pull for the Colts from here on in where they're playing. They want to take as much time off the clock as they possibly can.
Give them 4 on the play, 2nd and 6. 11.5 minutes to go in the ball game. 16-7 lead for Indianapolis.
Still haven't won a draw.
And again, we have a mix-up at the line of scrimmage. Raiders still over there questioning, I think, the previous call. Mikowski brings him up now 2nd and 11.
Middle should be open.
And Mikowski finds the man over the middle. A completed pass to Charles Arbuckle. Tight end, remember him from UCLA, where he was a very fine tight end, a good receiver, not much of a blocker for a tight end, although he leveled a man pretty well there.
Yeah, but you see what he does to the linebacker, to the linebacker, knocks him off the coverage and goes inside into the middle. That's the area that was vulnerable. Double coverage on the outside people.
Greg Beaker was picking him up coming off of the line, and Beaker got smacked down for his trouble by Charles Arbuckle. Mikowski falls down. They still got to touch him down. He can get up, and that's exactly what he does. Throws back the other way, and it is incomplete, nearly intercepted. Tried again to go to Arbuckle, who tipped it up into the air, and the Raiders nearly came up with an interception as Anthony Bell was diving for the football and couldn't grab it.
You know, Mikowski said that today. He said, I made some dumb mistakes the last time, and nothing is worse than to go back in the pocket and stumble and fall. Boy, am I embarrassed when that happens. And here again, he talked about it today, and here again, he did the same thing. But that's what happens on fuzzy cement, synthetic turf. Because if you don't raise your feet high, especially with new shoes on, they stick to the turf and you can tumble just like he did.
Mikowski in trouble. Backs away. Broughton after him, misses him. Incomplete, but Don Mikowski's putting on a show with his scrambling. Tried to get the ball to Sean Dawkins.
Boy, you talk about the hound and the hare. The outside here. And, you know, ironically, the receiver should have made the catch.
3rd and 10 from the 40. Incomplete. Aaron Wallace never turned around. He had Arbuckle. He was right on him.
Yeah, he had a man for man. That's what he's got to do. He can't be worried about the ball when he's playing man for man. To hit him in the back, that's good coverage.
Never let Arbuckle get an inch of space from him.
No, that's right. No separation whatsoever.
Aaron Wallace, 4th year out of Texas A&M. Excellent pass rusher, but there we see him in pass coverage. Now the Colts will try to take a delay of game penalty here again on 4th down to try to get Ron Stark a little more room, and I'm sure the Raiders again will probably refuse it. There's the delay. It's at the 40.
Delay of game, offense, plays decline, 4th down.
Ron Stark's a good one. 12th year with the Colts, 4 Pro Bowls in his career, including last year when he averaged 44.8 yards per kick, and he was up over 39 yards net. He's the 4th leading all-time punter in the NFL.
And the nice thing about him is, you know, he gets the flaps up in a hurry. It rises fast.
And so he's a left-footed kicker. Now he does try to pooch this one. Sends Hobbs back inside the 10, and he fumbles the football, goes after it, and recovers at the 3-yard line.
See, that's a bad rookie mistake. See, he's got to know. He's got to stand on the 10 and say, if it's on the 10 or in front of it, I'm going to make the catch. If not, I'm going to let it go into the end zone.
37-yard punt is the way it works out. Penalty flag thrown.
Foul, number 54 on the receiving team, post-possession, penalized from the spot of change of possession, 1st down.
See, there again, he didn't know where he was. He followed the flight of the ball and went back deep about the 4-yard line, and that's when you should just let it drop, go into the end zone, especially on synthetic turf. It's going to go roll into the end zone. You get the ball on the 20.
That 10 is kind of your line of demarcation there, isn't it?
Yes, that's right.
Anything past that, you just usually just let it go.
And especially on synthetic turf, because it's going to take the bounce into the end zone.
Now with the penalty to Biekert, that moves it half the distance to the goal line. The Raiders are back on their 2-yard line, which is going to make it really hard for Billy Joe Hobart, and the fans are going to make it even tougher. Listen to the din. Jordan and Robinson are the remaining backs. Jordan in the end zone, barely got out of there. Looked like he fumbled the football. It came loose. He's tackled in the end zone, and a safety. 2 points for the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts come up with a safety. The Raiders will see what happens. There is the fumble, but as he recovers it in the end zone, Hank. And making the signal that everyone knows means 2 points for Indianapolis.
See the thing that happened on the play, too, the quarterback, the young quarterback, watch his fundamental technique. Look, he never brings the ball into his pocket, into his stomach, and then takes it back out. He starts to move the ball. As soon as he gets it from the center, it's a bad exchange, fumble, and, of course, it winds up being a safety. Here we didn't see it from the very beginning. But the handoff and the fumble recovered by the Raiders safety. Now they got to kick the ball again, and the Indianapolis Colts will have possession of the ball.
Murray Garrett was the guy who got him, number 93, and knocked the ball loose. 2 points for the Indianapolis Colts after Robinson is tackled in the end zone. 18-7, Colts lead it now. And a free kick coming for Jeff Gossett. He roots it out of there, a nice high spiral. And it's Redan from the 20.
Up the middle. Is on about the 2-inch line and then bounces into the end zone and safety.
Murray Garrett's the guy that hit it, and then Vanderbeek helped out on the tackle for the safety. And now they have a first down again, Indianapolis. The ball at the 33-yard line, and Mikowski stays in there.
That was that trap again that time with the fullback, with the halfback coming back underneath the fullback and trying to get a trap block on the defensive tackle.
Rodney Culver struggled forward for about a yard. The tackle made there by John Baker, first-year player out of Pittsburgh, who signed as a free agent during the offseason. Baker played with Hamilton of the Canadian Football League in 1991, trying to make the Raiders now. Don't forget there's a cut-down date coming up in the NFL this Tuesday, so 20 guys are going to get lopped off of this team on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's usually that isn't a very difficult decision to make, but in this particular case, for a lot of teams, it really is.
80-60 on Tuesday. Here's Culver again. Has a little trouble handling the ball as he comes off of the left tackle. And Culver picks up about 5 yards. Howie Long made the Pro Bowl last year. Really had a fine season for the Raiders. Came into camp late, but settled his differences and ready now, I'm sure, to have another big season for Los Angeles.
I think he had 9 sacks last year, too, didn't he?
Mikowski scrambles out of there, looking to get that first down. And he does. Mikowski picking up a lot of yardage tonight. Right up the middle that time. 3 carries, 34 yards for Mikowski.
Now watch this. Now this is equivalent to a draw play, except the quarterback watches the great timing and the great vision. It's not called a quarterback draw, but he winds up making a draw play out of that pass. See? Watch the middle open up. Look at, watch it. He goes back. Now look at the beautiful room there. Everybody dropping back into their zone responsibilities. He's got a big cavity right up the middle and takes advantage of it. But that's really like a draw play, and I haven't seen him run one all evening long. Maybe that's why they haven't, because the quarterback is winding up running the draw play after he scrambles out of the pocket and goes up the middle.
On 1st and 10 from the 48, it was Culver for 2 yards. Up to midfield to make it 2nd and 8. Addison making the tackle for Los Angeles. Well, that's fine field position, Hank, for a team to have during the course of a whole game. Their average field position, 40-yard line to start.
Yep. Makes it a lot easier.
Right now they're on the 50. Culver again, off left tackle, bounces off a tackle, and struggles forward to the 47. Baker, Anthony Bell, Willie Broughton combined on the tackle with help from Beekert. Beekert a little slow getting up. Culver and the first string halfback, Anthony Johnson, are both out of Notre Dame.
For this field position, Raiders start from their own 16-yard line, which means they have to go 84 yards on every drive. You can't win with that kind of a situation. If you put Carl Lewis on the goal line and have him run 100 yards, and you put Boris Karloff on the 20, you know who's going to win that one? Boris Karloff, because of the field position. This is the same thing with a football game.
Joe Kelly came back in on that play, made a vicious hit, and immediately nearly got into another fight. I think fans are going to love Joe Kelly because he plays a game with a lot of intensity.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He might have been better off to be a pugilist.
Well, he's doing all right as a football player. He can really chase down plays. He can cover backs well out of the backfield. As you can see, he can hit.
Yeah, that's right. He's a big hitter, and he's very active and a great competitor. Loves to play the game.
This time the Raiders put Charles Jordan back on the 10-yard line. This is the young kid we told you about earlier in the season. Hadn't played football for 5 years, played just 1 year in 1988 at Long Beach City College. Caught a touchdown pass in the Raiders' opening game against the Green Bay Packers. And now Ron Stark is on to punt. Jordan said he was sitting at a game, a USC game, and he saw Curtis Conway take 190 yards. It's his good buddy Curtis Conway, and he got so pumped up that he wanted to give football another chance himself. Been working the last 2 years as a cook in a soul food restaurant. Here's the kick by Stark. Jordan chases it, takes it at the 13. With a stutter step, wants to go across the field. He's running into trouble, gets away from a man, turns on the speed, and is tackled at the 15. 41-yard punt by Stark and a 3-yard return for Charles Jordan. The Raiders trailing now by 11 points. They have 5-7 over the Los Angeles Raiders here at the Hoosier Dome. Raiders close out the preseason next week against the Rams. Here's Billy Joe Hobart calling signals. Not a lot of time here for the Raiders, but that's second and third line people in the ballgame, mostly third-string people in there now.
Yeah, well, Lanier, who they got from Denver, is playing right tackle. They're going to get a chance to look at him a little bit this game.
Todd Pete snapping the football back to Billy Joe Hobart on the run. Designed rollout on that play, and he gets a completion to Charles Jordan. That was a designed roll all the way for the Raiders, and he gets the football up to the 29-yard line and a first down for Los Angeles.
See, there's an illustration of what you're going to see during the course of the season. You know, this has been plain vanilla. No chocolate, no nuts, no cream, no nothing on it, just plain vanilla. And you're going to see a lot of that, I think, with Hostetler and the quarterbacks this coming season to take advantage of the ability of the quarterbacks.
From the 29 now on first down for Los Angeles. Over straight back this time. Nice pass and a good grab by Charles Jordan. He drilled that one. 19-yard pickup and gets the Raiders nearly to midfield.
See, the nice thing about it is the ball is thrown right between a 1 and a 3. There's no way in the world with the back behind you trying to cover that he's going to be able to knock that ball loose. Look where he throws the ball. Beautiful, beautiful play. Had he thrown it up high, forget it. It might have been an interception, a tipping drill, or an incompleted forward pass.
Another first down for the Raiders. Hobart has plenty of time this time. Now he runs out of the pocket. And making like Mikowski, he picks up good yardage for Los Angeles on a scramble.
And also making like Mikowski, you saw how he tucked the ball in and had both hands on it to make sure he didn't fumble the ball after that nice play.
You know, I was talking to Tom Walsh tonight just before the game, and I asked him about Hobart, and he says the one thing he really likes about him, this kid really does have a future. He is an athlete. He is very, very athletic. He can run. He can throw the football. He's a good golfer. He can do other things. He's a good athlete for Los Angeles. Disparity in the passing yardage effective for Indianapolis. Here's a pass completed to Sam Grady. And out of bounds. No, that's Orlando Truitt.
You know, the nice
13 yards.
Yeah, if there's a positive about this game, I think one thing you can say about the Raiders, the attitude with which they played all evening long under the kind of a situation they've been in, has been very outstanding. They keep trying, they keep fighting. And that's a good sign.
And they're still trying to win. They are two scores down, 2 touchdowns right now. They have 3.5 minutes to go, trailing 18-7. Hobart over the middle. Too long. And a penalty marker down. Raiders will bring a new tight end in, John Duff, replacing
Illegal use
Andrew
of
Glover.
hands, number 45 of the defense. Illegal use of hands, number 86 of the offense. Penalties offset. Repeat first down.
So that's a break there for the Raiders. They get to do the first down over again.
Yeah, that's right.
Ball's on the 33. Raiders trying to come up with some late magic here. Here's Greg Robinson trying the left side, and he is buried. Vanderbeek came up from his linebacker position to make the tackle. Matt Vanderbeek.
Yeah, that time they sent it. That time they ran him.
Now we're under 3 minutes to play. They took the full time in the huddle that time. Hobart in some trouble, fires on the right side, incomplete. Tried to get it to Randy Jordan. Coverage on the play by Thomas, knocked it away. It will be 3rd and 15 for Los Angeles.
Watch Thomas come in there and make a play. He throws it on the move. And he hits him. The ball hit him on the shoulder pad. He had no chance whatsoever to make the catch, and it bounces right out. And right about that time, he got hit on the play. That's a dead ball there. They don't have to, but they ought to go into their 2-minute offense and try to get as many plays as they possibly can.
So that was the first incompletion on this drive for Hobart after hitting 3 in a row. He needs one for at least 15 in the next 2 plays. In trouble, gets a block from Todd Pete. Gets a completed pass to Darryl Hobbs close to the first down. Chris Good makes the tackle, but there's a penalty marker down. Well, he really pulled one out of the hat there, rifled that pass to Hobbs, but will it count? That's the question.
See, and there again is another illustration of how important it is to be able to scramble and make plays
Personal
as a
foul,
quarterback.
chop block, number 77, 15 yards, still 3rd down.
Boy, that's murder.
That's Tim Rother. There he is for the Raiders, playing at the left tackle position. The Raiders really thin at the left tackle. Of course, they lost Gerald Perry originally with torn tricep muscles. Then they lost Greg Skrepenak a week ago with a dislocated joint in his ankle. Then during practice this week, the shoulder of Steve Wright pops out again. So the Raiders tonight have gone with Rich Stevens and Tim Rother.
And they're somewhat limited because last week in their game, they ran 19 plays on 1st and 10, all of which were to the right because of their left tackle situation.
3rd and a mile. Here's a pass by Billy Joe, and it's a completed pass to Andrew Glover. And he picked up big yardage on the play, 26, but it is not enough for a first down. It'll set up a 4th and about, I think, 3 yards for the Raiders.
First charge, timeout, Raiders. 42nd timeout, 40 seconds.
The Raiders take it.
So if you fans are going to be right on top of the action. The field's been lowered. The sidelines have been right down to the fans have been brought right down to the sidelines, Hank, and I know you know that's very important.
Oh, yeah, and I'm excited about that because I'm going to do the Minnesota Raider game, the opening game of the season, so I look forward to doing a game and also seeing that stadium.
4th and 3 now for Los Angeles. Hobart is 4 for 5 in this drive, gets the completed pass to Jordan, but he is knocked down by Chris Good, and it's going to be short of the first down.
Well, that was a great play by the Indianapolis Colts, and Good specifically, a terrific play.
Good, I want to point out, is the starting cornerback for the Colts who they put in on this drive.
Yeah, that's right. There's an illustration, a demonstration of what Mark Gibrota said before the game. I want to win the game. We're going to do everything we can. We win the game. We're going to look at a lot of people, but we want to win the game. That was the emphasis.
Chris Good is a 10th round draft pick. Their other starting cornerback, Hank, Eugene Daniel, is an 8th round draft pick. You know, in their whole starting defensive secondary, they don't have higher than a 5th round draft choice. And they're hard to believe in the NFL today.
Yeah, it is, but that's what their situation is, and I think this football team, if they can stay healthy, is going to rise another notch over what they did last year.
1st and 10 on the 26-yard line, and the Indianapolis Colts come out running. It is Ronald Humphrey, first-year player out of Mississippi Valley State. And we have reached the 2-minute notification. With the score, the Indianapolis Colts 18, the Los Angeles Raiders 7. Eddie Anderson doesn't like to play now in the ball game. The Indianapolis Colts feeling comfortable with an 18-7 lead over Los Angeles.
That's right.
And it's Humphrey again. And he doesn't get much. Just about back to the line of scrimmage. The Raiders here are going to utilize a timeout. Tackle made on the play by Greg Beaker.
You have to be impressed with the way Indianapolis played, really, offensively and defensively, especially offensively, especially when Magic came into the game.
There's Max Montoya, great veteran of the Raiders offensive line. Derek Hoskins right now holds down the starting safety spot. We did not see Patrick Bates tonight because Patrick is suffering from an ankle injury. There's Chester McLaughlin for Los Angeles. So Raiders on the sidelines, and you have a different feeling, not the devastated feeling that you have after a loss during the regular season, and the regular season only 2 weeks away. Next week, as we mentioned, the Raiders and the Rams to close out things in the preseason. Then the regular season, it'll be September 5 against the Minnesota Vikings at the Coliseum. The Raiders go up to Seattle for a Sunday night game against the Seahawks in their first AFC Western Division game, and then right back to face the Cleveland Browns on September 19th. 2nd and 11. They give him a loss of a yard in that last play. Humphrey again off the left side, and again Biekert, and then a whole host of Raiders there to make the tackle. Brabham, Young, Anthony Bell. Those youngsters, believe me right now at this point, knowing that the cut-down day is coming up on Tuesday, are trying to do everything they possibly can to make one last impression here on the coaches. My goodness. Yikes. What is that?
What is that? Wow, that was a sharp tomahawk there, wasn't it?
Well, that's Bill Schultz, right guard for the Indianapolis Colts. If they can stop him here, they'll get another chance to get the ball back, however.
They'll run left here. Yep, going to get us straight ahead again.
It's Humphrey. Humphrey close to the first down, actually, as he gets up to the 45-yard line. I think he's going to be a little bit short. Watch for the mark of the ball. He needed to get just up to about the 46. Some of the Raider offensive linemen. Dan Turk there, 67, who you saw earlier limp off the field. Doesn't look too worse for wear right now. Rich Stevens in the middle, pressed into a starting position, number 55, due to all of the injuries on the Raider offensive line at the left tackle spot, and he just got enough for that first down.
You know, and Turk, we talked about Turk initially, he was with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and was a guard at that particular time. But in this situation, why he can play either center or guard, and that's a big asset.
Yes, and he's also a special teams guy for the Raiders. He's a long snapper for them, so he's a very important member of the Raiders. And now the Colts are going to start running out the clock. They'll need to take one more snap, and then that'll be it. Well, we saw a lot of the kids here tonight, Hank, and a lot of playing time given to a lot of the guys at the bottom end of the roster as we look at Hobart talking to the old veteran Vince Evans. But I would assume that next week against the Rams in the preseason finale, it'll be a different philosophy that the Raiders will take the field with.
Yeah, I think they have to get involved in tune-up time next week. We'll have known you know, what the players can do, and as a result, now they got to get worried, got to get started on getting ready for the season. Their opener against the Minnesota Vikings, and again, I think this team has a lot of talent. And I think it has the potential to be a lot better team than people think it's going to be, and especially if the quarterback situation clears up and becomes a big plus for this team.
Hostetler tonight only played about a quarter. The highlight for the Raiders was a run by that man right there, the rookie 8th-round draft pick, Greg Robinson, who ripped off an 80-yard run up the left sideline, and there he meets his old teammate, Roosevelt Potts. Those two were the starting backfield at Northeast Louisiana.
Yeah, they're both happy for each other the way they played.
Potts tonight had a big night. He caught 3 passes for 21 yards. He ran the ball 12 times for 47 yards. And Greg Robinson with the touchdown run for the Raiders. But the ball game has come to an end. The final score, the Indianapolis Colts 18, the Los Angeles Raiders 7. This is Los Angeles Raiders football.